Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to our March to Easter through the book of John. And today we're going to be in chapter number 7. And once again, I like to think of this as you and I are sitting across a coffee table, and I get the honor of being your personal guide through the Gospel of John. And in chapter 7, you're going to really enjoy this, and it's a really good deal. Let me give you some background. This is the Feast of Booths, also known as the Feast of Tabernacles, that is happening in this. And this was one of the fall feasts. The Israelites would have spring feasts and fall feasts that would kind of go along with planting season and then harvest season. And this was the second feast of the fall. You had the Feast of Trumpets called Rosh Hashanah. Then you had the Feast of Booths or Tabernacles or tents. And what they would do is this would be part of celebrating their time in the wilderness and how they lived in tents at the time. So this was in the fall. So this is probably about 6 months before Jesus would later be put on trial and crucified and then raised from the dead. And during this time, you've got that even Jesus' own brothers and family didn't believe in him. Now think about this. How hard would it be for your brother to convince you that he was the Messiah, right? So it was a hard thing until after he, of course, rose from the dead. You rise from the dead, we believe you, right? And so they're telling him, hey, why don't you go up to the feast, because you shouldn't do anything in secret. And he tells them, you go ahead and go, I'm gonna go later. And he does go later. And when he goes, people are looking for him, and he stands up and he says, whoever wants to drink living water, come to me. And he starts creating this uproar. But the verse I want you to look at is, in the last verse, the Pharisees who are against Jesus, they get mad at Nicodemus. This is the guy who from back in chapter 3 had come and talked to him at night. And he's kind of saying, hey guys, we should give this guy some room. And then they reply, are you from Galilee too? Search and see that no prophet arises from Galilee. And what I want you to see from that is the Pharisees are saying, this man obviously can't be from God because he was born in Galilee. Search the scriptures, it's not there. Notice what they did. They have assumed knowledge about Jesus that they don't really possess. If you've read the other Gospels, you realize Jesus wasn't born in Galilee. He was born in Bethlehem. And he had to be in Bethlehem because there was a census that caused him to be in Bethlehem. And if they knew that, then as these trained scholars would have immediately realized, the Bible does say that the Messiah will come from Bethlehem, also known as David's house, David's hometown. So they assumed something that they didn't have any information about. And how big a lesson is that for us? So many times we assume things that we don't actually know. And you know what they say about assumptions? It's the lowest form of knowledge. And so what they needed to do is do some research, do some study, ask some questions, and then they might actually be able to understand. But many times it's a lot easier to have a comment rather than a conversation. And so for me, what I get out of this whole chapter is it finally reveals to me that one of the reasons why the Pharisees were the way they were is because they felt like they were waving the right flag, but the flag they were waving had little to do with what they knew and more to do with what they assumed. That's a good lesson for all of us. So I hope you enjoy chapter 7, and I am excited about probably some fireworks that's going to happen, a little controversy over chapter 8. I'll see you tomorrow for chapter 8.